I met him on a day when nothing felt special enough to remember. The sky was dull, my mood matched it, and I was late as usual. He held the door open for me at the cafe and smiled like he had all the time in the world. That smile stayed with me longer than the coffee did. He sat 2 tables away, reading a book that looked far too old to belong to someone our age, and when our eyes met again, he nodded like we shared a secret. I didn't know then how right that feeling was. We started talking the way strangers do, carefully at first, then all at once. He listened more than he spoke, asked questions that made me feel seen, remembered small details that I forgot I'd shared. He said he worked nights, something flexible, something that let him disappear for days and reappear like nothing had changed. I didn't press. We all have parts of our lives we keep locked. Loving him felt easy. He never rushed me, never tried to impress me with big promises. Our dates were simple, long walks, quiet dinners, stolen hours that felt like borrowed time. Sometimes he'd show up with a small gift, nothing expensive, just thoughtful. A book I mentioned once. A scarf in my favorite color. He paid in cash, always, and I joked about him being old-fashioned. He laughed but didn't explain. There were signs, of course. There always are. He avoided cameras, stepped out of stores when alarms went off even if they weren't near us. He hated police sirens, stiffened at the sound like an animal sensing danger. When I asked about his family, he changed the subject. When I asked for photos from his past, he said he'd lost them. I told myself love meant not interrogating the person you cared about. The first crack appeared the night my apartment was broken into. Nothing major was taken. A watch I barely wore. Some cash I'd left in a drawer. A necklace my grandmother gave me. I was shaken more than angry, sitting on the floor while the police asked routine questions. He arrived breathless, eyes dark with concern, wrapped me in his arms like he was holding something fragile. He promised he'd make it right. I didn't know what he meant by that. A week later, the necklace appeared on my kitchen table. No note. No explanation. My heart leapt with relief, then stalled with confusion. He smiled when I showed him, said maybe the thief had a conscience. Something in his eyes flickered when he said it, gone before I could name it. The truth came slowly, the way it does when you're not ready to hear it. A friend sent me a news article late one night, asking if the man in the photo looked familiar. It was a blurry image from a security camera. A hood pulled low. A jawline I knew too well. The article talked about a string of high-end thefts, clean jobs, no violence, no fingerprints. The thief was known for returning items that held sentimental value. A detail that made my stomach drop. I confronted him without a plan. He didn't deny it. He didn't get angry. He looked tired, like someone who had been running for a long time and finally stopped. He told me everything then. About how it started young, about learning which doors were already unlocked, about rules he never broke. No hurting people. No stealing from those who couldn't recover. He said he never intended to fall in love. That was the mistake that changed everything. I felt betrayed in ways I couldn't explain. Not just because he lied, but because I had loved him honestly while he decided which truths I could handle. I asked if he'd ever stolen from me. He said no, never, and I believed him because lying didn't come easily to him. Silence did. I asked why he stayed after the break-in, why he didn't disappear like he always could. He said because loving me made him want to be better, even if he didn't know how. Because walking away would have been safer, and he was tired of choosing safe over right. I told him I needed time. He nodded, already halfway gone, like he'd practiced this goodbye before. Days passed. Then weeks. My apartment felt too quiet. Every siren made me think of him. Every unlocked door made me angry at myself for checking it twice. When he came back, it wasn't with excuses. It was with a decision. He said he was turning himself in. Not because he was caught, but because he was done. He wanted a life that didn't require running, a love that didn't depend on secrets. He said he didn't expect me to wait. He just wanted me to know that I mattered enough to change the ending. Watching him walk into that station was the hardest thing I've ever done. Loving a thief without knowing taught me how easily we fill gaps with trust, how love can exist alongside deception without either disappearing. It taught me that people are not the worst thing they've done, but they are responsible for what they choose next. I visit him sometimes. We talk through glass, hands inches apart, eyes saying what words can't. I don't know what our future looks like. I don't know if love survives sentences and time and consequences. But I know this, I loved him without knowing, and now I know everything. And strangely, that honesty, however late it came, feels like the most real thing we ever shared.